Onto this story now. Statistics for last year show a significant increase in retrenchment and mortality claim, and that's from Liberty's claims statistics. Now, according to financial services company, COVID-19 and the hard lockdown have had a substantial impact on the country's economy. The company says there was also a number of COVID-19 related claims, but the business says it made emergency plans to deal with the surge. Liberty's Divisional Executive for Retail Solutions, Nalen Naidoo, joins me now to discuss this and more. Nalen, many thanks for your time this evening. Let's perhaps start with the amount of COVID claims that you got as a business and how much of an effect that had on Liberty.
Yes, good evening, Rofhiwa, and thank you very much. We paid out confirmed claims of just over R500 million, so that's 575 million rand, prominently on mortality, so people dying, and health-related claims as well, but most of the claims are on mortality claims. As you'd expect, the vast majority of this was paid out during the peak of the first wave, which was between the months of June and September, where we saw almost 3 times as many claims as we'd been expecting. It's important to note, though, that our COVID numbers that we've just spoken through are highly dependent on the reported medical information that we are able to get. And due to the variability of this during the COVID pandemic, we actually feel that we probably paid out many more than the confirmed claims that we have. Many of the deaths have been classified as natural causes because of the variability.
Right. Still regarding those COVID claims, you do mention that there were some plans put in place, emergency plans that you put in place to mitigate some of the effects. What were those, and are these something that the company is going to stick with as a new way of doing business given the current times?
Yes, Rofhiwa, we learned lots. We learned lots during this pandemic, and we will be putting many of these practices into place for a longer period of time. Our plans covered our clients, covered our advisors, and then covered our employees as well. From a client perspective, originally the industry practice was to exclude COVID provisions. This was early on in the pandemic. What we ended up doing subsequently was removing all exclusions. So we paid all valid claims regardless of whether the underlying condition was related to COVID or not. At the same time, we introduced premium relief measures for our customers who were going through really tough financial times during the lockdown and then associated economic impacts. And importantly, from an experience perspective, we introduced a new service called the Claims Concierge, which allowed us to better provide a human experience to customers and their beneficiaries going through a claims event by allocating a specific claims person to them throughout their entire journey. From an advisor perspective, we provided financial relief measures and digitized their processes. And then we helped our employees work from home, digitizing and moving to a virtual way of working across the organization. And many of these practices will continue into the future.
Right, and I'm glad because the Ombudsman for Long-Term Insurance used Liberty as an example in the release of its report yesterday, quoting them saying that Liberty's poor handling of a specific claim really just led or left a bad taste in that particular client's mouth, and really just had the Ombudsman questioning Liberty's conduct when it comes to their relationship with clients. So you have mentioned one element of how you are improving client relation services, but what are some of the other ways that Liberty works on, particularly when you get this kind of feedback from the Ombudsman, for example?
Thanks, Rofhiwa. We take all feedback from the various stakeholders around us, including the important Ombudsman, extremely seriously, and we investigate and try and remedy the processes, the underlying processes that gave rise to that particular outcome. We do know that nothing is perfect, in particular in the last year. Given the large volume of claims, our claims teams have been under significant pressure, and so we certainly have taken it on ourselves to investigate and improve the processes. From a broader customer experience perspective, we have been making efforts to digitize even our interactions with our customers, and we are hoping that through the various channels of communication we've established, we are able to better understand some of these pain points and address them before they get to to some of the regulatory stakeholders like you've mentioned.
Right. Thank you so much. Very interesting insights there from Liberty's Divisional Executive for Retail Solutions, Nalen Naidoo.